So, welcome my first guest on my first episode of, I don't know the name yet, but we're going to get there. Yufeng Huan, which tell me one more time how to pronounce your name.
Yeah, so in Chinese culture, you actually start with your family name, your last name. So it'd be Yuan Yu Feng.
Yuan Yu Feng.
Hey, pretty good. And
Okay, so
you'd be Chesson Austin.
yeah,
So
Chesson Austin, that works out for me. So, welcome my first guest, Yuan Yen Feng.
good
And
try.
he is the yeah, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna get there eventually. I just gotta move to Shanghai and learn as much as I can, and we'll get there eventually. So he's the head of community for School of Mentors. And well, first off, just introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are and how you got to be the head of community of School of Mentors, and kind of what the
Sure.
School of Mentors is, just in case anyone hasn't heard of it before.
Sounds good, Austin. So, yeah, guys, for those of you who don't know what the School of Mentors is, we are the number one educational platform for entrepreneurs on the school platform, SKOOL. We currently have over 6,000 members, and we invite millionaires and billionaires every single week. And you can ask them directly your specific business questions, entrepreneurship questions, or even personal development questions. And I'm the head of community for that. Again, my name is Yuan Yufeng or Yufeng Yuan. I was made in China, but the quality is good. Don't worry. And I moved from China to the US when I was 6 years old. Graduated from UCLA with a degree in communications and a minor in entrepreneurship. And I became the head of this community by being a go-giver inside the community. So basically, wherever I saw that there was a gap that needed to be filled or members were requesting for help, I would help out wherever I could. And in the end, that's what landed me this job. So that's how it happened.
Nice. And if you guys want to join the School of Mentors, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description. Um, I'm in the School of Mentors, and honestly, I can't say anything more. He kind of fits it perfectly. It's just mentors helping people, and it's phenomenal. So my question is, what makes a great mentor?
That's a great question, Austin. I think it's different for everybody, right? Mentors are not like a one size fits all kind of thing. I think every mentor, or at least all the mentors that we've had on, you can learn from their mindsets, right? I think that's a generalized value pool that every mentor brings to the table and that anyone can learn from their specific mindset. But I think in terms of like finding what a good mentor is, you have to look at what you want as the person being mentored. Like it depends on the mentee, right? And I always go back to that quote by Jim Rohn, we become the average of the five people we spend the most time with. So if you want to pursue a specific business model or become a certain type of entrepreneur or succeed in a particular type of industry, I would find a mentor that is in that similar industry or who has succeeded at that particular business model. The possibility of that person being a good mentor for you is going to be way higher. But I think it all goes back to the individual.
1,000%, I agree. I think it's just finding someone that fits what you're going. Find someone that's doing what you're already wanting to do, and just see how you can do everything you can to provide them value, and just form that relationship. And I think being a great mentor is allowing that relationship to happen, but also curating your energy to only giving your energy to those that are kind of worthy of it at the end of the day. Because the worst thing a mentee can do is ask for help. You give them help, and then they don't listen, or they don't actually act on that. So my next question is, how do strong communities accelerate personal and professional growth? I know through School of Mentors, personally, I just think it's great to have a strong community of mindset, all of like-minded minds, right? I think it's just important to be able to bounce ideas off, but I wanted to get your perspective on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw it back to that quote again by Jim Rohn. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, um, there aren't that many people that are entrepreneurially minded. It's quite a rare breed of human. Um, so being in community with others who are like-minded entrepreneurs, positive, driven, ambitious. It just helps so much keep the positive momentum going. And if ever your mind or the stream of your consciousness is flowing in a suboptimal way, if you get into that community, start interacting with people, one, it'll pick you up. It'll get you back into the right mindset, into the right ways of thinking. And then also, there's so much to be learned from interacting with people like this. I come into the community, I could read like any post and I can pick up one thing and take that away and implement it in my personal development and the way that I live my life and sometimes in my business as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's
Well,
essential, man. It's essential.
yeah, 1000%. I think it's very important to build off of communities that already exist because you try to go into a group of fast food workers and not speaking bad on fast food workers, but if you go into a group of fast food workers, I mean, you're going to be the fifth fast food worker. And the question you have to ask yourself is that what you want for your life? And so I think one of the biggest things is just being in the room. And so joining communities, joining networking communities, joining the School of Mentors, any school group, right? If you go to skool.com, there is a list of communities that anything you want to learn, not just entrepreneurship, right? Anything you want to learn from sewing to painting to driving to fixing cars, like it's all there. And I think just the community of whatever you're trying to do, just finding your community that best fits. I think the common mistakes people make when looking for mentors is they look in the wrong rooms, right? I
Mm,
think they don't even know what they're looking for, and it's just the sad truth of it. And it's nothing against them because you really just don't know what you don't know. But it's just so common where you find someone walking up to someone that's just slightly above average, and they're thinking that this should be my mentor. My
mm.
biggest advice is the first person you meet in a room doesn't necessarily have to be your mentor because maybe they're the same person trying to be in that room to find a mentor. It gets meta. It gets meta after you think about it for a second. But it's super important to find the right rooms and to understand what makes a person successful. Keep in mind that just because someone's wearing a nice suit, wearing a Rolex, and coming up to the community or the place, or even like a cigar lounge or a bar or something like that, and they're in a Bugatti or a Lamborghini or some sort of fancy car, that doesn't necessarily mean they're successful, right? So there's a difference between vanity and success because you don't know where they got that Rolex from. They could have gotten it from a pawn shop. It could be a fake, right? They could have gone to Marshalls and got their suit for $200 and moved on. And that Lamborghini could have been a rental. So it's like you can imagine to yourself that, oh, this person has all this money, and just every once in a while take a step back, and it's not thinking the worst of people, but it's just looking through a different lens. Because how many millionaires and billionaires do you see pulling up and they hop out with this big fancy suit on and they're trying to look like they're a billionaire? Look at Adam Sandler. He's probably one of the most successful people in the movie industry. He rocks basketball shorts and a t-shirt and he's comfortable. It's so just always be open to just because someone doesn't necessarily look like they could be your next mentor, have conversations and be open to learning and listening from them so you can kind of see deeper than just the vanity of it because that mind is going to be more powerful than the clothes they wear. So just very important. Just yes, that those are definitely one of the common mistakes I've seen personally because it's always everyone tries to attract to the person in the suit and they realize that the person in the corner, thank God I actually know the difference. I'll go to the person in the corner and the person in the corner is like, "Yeah, I'm actually the one who taught the guy in the suit." you know, so it's kind of going up the funnel
Well,
that way.
Austin, let me ask you this, bro. What are some of those tells for you of like an undercover
Yeah.
successful person then? If it's not like on the outer appearance, what are
Yeah.
some signs that you personally look for then?
So just first of all, talk to everyone. Talk to everyone. You go into a room, talk to as many people as you can. Don't be overbearing, but just introduce yourself and see what they do. And it's all about personality. How confident are they? Even if they're not an eight-figure earner, eight-figure people exist. And so how confident they are. And maybe they're just not an eight-figure earner yet, right? But it's how confident they are. How do they talk in that interaction? How do they give you space to breathe and give you an opportunity to talk? Because even these millionaires, billionaires, they understand that they can learn from anyone. And as you start to see their confidence show through and just how they carry themselves and how they talk about certain topics, introduce things that you're interested in and see if it's a good fit. It's any relationship at the end of the day. And normally, the smartest person in the room isn't the one talking the most, just in general. That's just, it's just, in, yeah. And it also brings back to an old adage, kind of off topic, is if it's better for people to think you're stupid than it is for you to open your mouth and prove them right. So it's one of those things. But when you do talk to people and just those tells, I think is really just like firm handshakes, eye contact, confidence, the way they speak, the way they talk about topics. And as a person looking for those signs, asking questions that kind of lead down those higher value conversations. See what they do. Oh, how long have you been in your industry? What would you say? And ask great questions. Great people love great questions. If you actually follow the School of Hard Knocks, which is the creator of School of Mentors, you'll see that he asks great questions to high value people. And they value that because they actually want to leave that legacy. And so when you find a mentor and you find a high value person, most of the time they want to help you. There's no better feeling than giving to someone. There really isn't. And so I would say those are kind of things that I look for when it comes to finding a mentor, finding a high value person in a room, and just kind of weeding through the vanity of it all. Because it's very easy for people to try to pretend, right? And really, I think that's just how you find a mentor in your field. I think just going into the right room, go into industry networking events, right? You don't want to go to a sewing networking event to learn business inherently, right? But my question is, so how would you find a mentor in your field? So like in entrepreneurship, other than School of Mentors, obviously, but just what are things that you would suggest?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. Let me think. Hmm. It's interesting because I'm trying to think what my field is, you know, like I'm more of an intrapreneur, like I innovate within the business. So in terms of that, hmm,
I mean, my thought process originally would definitely be just C-suite level people. So entrepreneurs would be like the COOs or the CFOs, and like the second level of CEO, where they're the people that are innovating within the business and they're not necessarily the founders. But what they do is, which just to explain what an entrepreneur is, just for the people that don't know, is a founder, a CEO, an entrepreneur is the people that starts things, right? They're very outward. They're very outward. They're the ones that shout out from the mountaintops. They're the people that are the face of the business. I actually just founded ConversaCore. I'm the entrepreneur of that business, right? So ideally, let's say 5 years down the line, I need someone that is kind of second in command so I can kind of see the overarching picture, but I let a person handle a department. What I would do is I would hire someone that knows that department better than I know that department. And even though I know the business better, they have a fresh outlook on that specific department itself, and then they innovate. So they view it, and then what I would say is like going into networking events for C-suite level people, where it's not necessarily the CEOs, but that second in command. Like what's the people that innovate? What are your thoughts on that?
I love that, bro. I think I'm gonna do that from now on. And I guess low key, it is kind of what I've been doing. Just as the head of community here, I'm exposed to so many great entrepreneurs. Um, both on our team as well as from other just guest mentors that we bring on. And I learn from every single mentor that comes on. And I also get introduced to C-suite level people that may have been associated with a previous business that one of our partners uh, has run or something like that. But yeah, no, bro, Austin, that's brilliant, dude. That's brilliant, dude.
Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So, Michael, so you became the head of community. Within how long? So you joined and it was maybe like 3 months before you became the head of community because it was, or how long? Tell me.
No, no, it was a
I
whole
won't assume.
progression. It was a progression, bro. So I started last year, right around this time, August. I believe it was August 5th, my little brother's birthday.
Cool.
Um, I started as the community manager. Back then, our community was only at like 1,100 members or something like that, just barely breaking 1,000, I think. And after coming into the community, man, like I said, I saw these gaps that really needed filling. Like one thing that I saw was that nobody took great notes from the mentorship calls. So everybody that missed the call didn't know what happened on the call. So I took really phenomenal notes from the call. I plugged them into ChatGPT. I said, please organize these into discrete logical categories. And then ChatGPT cranked out this amazing list of quotes and insights and takeaways from the call, which I reposted to the community. If you go back OG School of Mentors, you'll see some of my posts. And then I also helped out people with communication, with mindset, just in different posts and stuff. And then what put me even more on the map was I actually went into a networking call, which was run by one of the co-founders at the time. I won't mention who it is. And I helped him kind of optimize the call on the fly because it wasn't very optimal. And then after that, instead of opening up this opportunity to their audience of 15 million or asking anybody in their network or community, they directly just handed it to me. They're like, yo, do you want to be community manager? No interview even, dude. That's what happened. And I
Nice.
became the community manager about like a month and a half after joining the community by being a go-giver inside of it.
Yeah, 1000%. I think it kind of just worked out. It kind of worked out. We're able to give as much as you can until they just, like I say, is like give as much as you can until someone feels bad for not giving back. Where it's just like it's so much in your favor of how much you've gave that they just want to they want to find that equilibrium. They want to tilt that lever back. And I've seen it
It's
happen.
interesting. It's interesting, man, because I didn't even think of it like that. I don't think of it as like I have to give so much that you feel obligated to reciprocate. It was no,
Mhm.
like I'm just giving because these are the things that I know that have been valuable to me. So let me
Yeah.
help people. Dude, it came out of left field for me, man.
Oh, that's
I
that's
had
good.
zero expectation of it, dude. But
Yeah.
like, it's just stuff that I loved that I wanted to help people with. So if you go and proactively just help people from the bottom, from the like core of your heart in
Mm.
the things that you really love and are passionate about. Like I helped out with communication, with mindset. I love both of these things. And I think it's not the team. I think it's the universe that reciprocates for you,
Yeah.
man.
Yes. Which is
Um,
which is kind of what I mean for sure. I think that's kind of what I mean is I just like giving so much that I really do. And it's the whole thing of like giving without expectation and also receiving gracefully, which is a very
yes.
important part. I know a lot of people that give, 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 and they're phenomenal people in everyone's eyes, but they never receive. And you're not allowing the universe to equalize. And so
Mm.
it kind of creates that chaos of that's why some people don't even get where they want to go is because they give without expectation and then they don't receive. So they don't allow that equilibrium in life. And so it can be very, very difficult. And so you kind of,
Austin, hold on, Austin. Let me stop you right there, bro, because that's a beautiful message that I think a lot more people need to hear. A great friend of mine comes to mind. He gives so much, but he doesn't know how to receive. I think he's blocking his own blessings, man. So how would you encourage everyone listening to your pod to gracefully receive? How does one begin to receive if one is so used to just being the giver all the time?
yeah.
How do
So
you start
first,
to receive?
yeah, 1000%. So first of all, before anything, before receiving, you do have to become that person that gives. You have to give without expectation because receiving gracefully starts with giving without expectation. Because when you expect things, you can't receive gracefully inherently because you're expecting it. You're telling people, hey, I did this for you, so when are you going to do this for me? That takes away the grace of it, right? But when it comes to receiving gracefully for people that do give with that expectation consistently, and that's their brand, is it's just all about saying yes to things sometimes and being thankful. There is no better feeling than giving something to someone. There really is not. And so the way I think about it is how dare you take that feeling away from someone? How dare you not allow someone to feel good by giving to you? And so that's the way I framed it is like I see it as an opportunity to actually like kind of ironically give more, right? So when I receive gracefully, I'm giving them the feeling of giving,
Mm.
which is kind of
Wow.
a like I said, it stacks onto each other. And
I
so
like
for
that.
people that want to give without expectation, I think a part of giving is receiving because it's that give and take. And it's just you don't want to overpower anyone in any of those fields. You don't want to give so much where they can't give back to you. And you also don't want to take so much that you never give. And so it is that equilibrium. And so you have to let the universe equalize. If you're going to take, you have to give, or it's just you're not going to get where you're going. And if you're going to give, you have to receive. Don't take. There's a big difference. You have to
I,
receive, right? And that's just it creates that lever, and you just have to have it equalize. I think
I
that's
love
one
that,
of the
bro.
biggest things. Because I do agree with you. I know some people personally that all they want to do is help, and I love them. I love them so 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 much. And like I said, no one views them in a bad light, but they just can't go anywhere because they're sabotaging their growth. They're sabotaging who they could be because they feel as if they're not worthy of it, I guess, or they really want to emphasize the giving without expectation part. But they just have to remember receive gracefully, and just be thankful. So, for example, I have a friend, which I won't say his name because he's actually pretty successful in his industry, and he does nothing but give to the community. And he has his own community group. He has his networking group, a coaching group, all these things. And he does a phenomenal job. But something he does do is receive. So he's given me so many things I can't even count. And one thing I wanted to do nice for him is I wanted to just appreciate him. And that sometimes is all you need to do, right? So I called him, and for no other reason, I just called him and I said, "Hey man, thank you. Thank you for existing. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for starting the community that I've joined. Thank you for doing these networking groups. Thank you for doing everything that you've done in life. And I truly appreciate it. And I can't wait to see more of what you're doing." And instead of saying, well, it's just a part of me, it's just me trying to be the best I can. I mean, it's really not nothing. It's just, I'm just trying my best. He said, thank you. I've worked really hard to give to everyone, and I really appreciate your feedback. I look forward to giving more to you in the future. And that makes me feel better. The accepting of that. Because then it's like my words are not in vain, which is very
Mm.
important. Very important. So what would you
Awesome. That's
say
beautiful,
is
bro. Hold on.
which
Let me chime in real quick, bro. Well, first question. Have you ever been to Malaysia?
I've never been to Malaysia.
All right, dude. When you meet a Malaysian person, like the reaction that I've gotten the most is they always put their hand on their heart. So when you tell them your name, like please tell me your name, bro. Like I'd be like,
Oh,
hey, I'm Yufong, and then what would you say?
my name's Austin.
And then they'd be like, oh, Austin, and they put you in their heart. The hand gestures like this, like, oh, Austin, so great to meet you. It's so beautiful to me, man. I was so touched and surprisingly delighted when I saw that that was how they reacted. And it's like, wow, like, and I've endeavored to do that. Just put whatever it is, the compliment in my heart and keep it here. And dude, it's such a great message, dude, receiving gracefully. And it's beautiful that you were appreciating your friend like that. And it does go a long way, man. People who are givers like this, like it really is the praise sometimes, or just the recognition of the effort that it goes a long, 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 long way. Um, and I got a great quote for you to kind of end out this segment. This is from James, I think. Life gives to givers and it takes from takers, and it keeps very accurate accounting.
Yes, yes, it's that equilibrium where
Yep.
it's like it's gonna equalize whether you want it to or not.
Yep. Yep.
And so just let it,
Yep.
let it equalize. Do your thing. And it's better to be on the giving route and let it equalize where you're receiving than it is for you to be on the taking route and now you're giving without without you even giving permission for that.
Mm.
Now the universe is taking from you, right, as much as it can. So my next question is, what would you say is kind of your first kind of couple steps of building a network of supporters, building
Mm.
your own network of supporters? So like mentors, friends, family. At the end of the day, you need support for what you're doing. And what would you say is the first couple steps of reaching out to people and just letting people know of what you're doing and trying to form that community of supporters?
Yeah, I mean, one thing is you have to know who you are. You have to know your core message. You have to know what it is that you want to say. I think all successful people that rely on communication, great artists, great musicians, they all have something that they want to say. All have something that they want to express, a message that they feel has been unheard for quite a while or needs to be heard by more people. And that's the first thing I think. Get clear on your own message. Find things that really your heart wants to speak out. And then after that, find places where you can share that message and keep asking for a bigger stage. One of our mentors, Caitlin O'Toole, she just kept asking for a bigger and bigger and bigger stage. So first she was on the School of Hard Knocks channel, and then she was featured on Elon Musk's Twitter X account. And then she started working with Mind Valley, and then she spoke at the United Nations. So if you have something to say that you know, like in your heart, that you're confident will help other people, keep asking for a bigger stage, I think, and then keep showing up consistently with that go-giver attitude. And really, again, dude, it's just coming with the intention of providing as much value as you can. The Buddhists believe, I'm a Buddhist, we believe that as the intention is, so too will the result be. So I studied communication at UCLA, right? And I took the speech class, man. And my first couple of speeches were terrible, bro. I was so nervous and like shaky and like I just couldn't speak well. And when I analyzed it, I realized I was too self-focused. I was too worried about how I was coming across, sounding cool. And when I switched my intention to just giving as much value as I could to my audience, to the people in front of me who are giving me their time, dude, my speeches went so much better. Because one, I prepared way more because I really wanted to craft this message in a way that was the most digestible, valuable, and understandable to everybody listening. I rehearsed more because I wanted to communicate it well. And then on the day of the speech, I was able to show up with confidence because I knew in my heart that my intention was motivated with love. And I'm able to look at you, and the energy is different, the eye contact is different, everything is different. So intention is really, really key. So showing up over and over again with the right intention, I think.
Yeah, 1000%. I think it's building, not necessarily building your own network, but it's creating such a powerful message that the network of supporters just come. Where it
Mm,
really is like that. If you're doing great things and you put it out into the world, money will come, supporters will come. And that's where passion has to be the foundation of whatever you're doing and shouting it from the mountaintops, right? I did real estate for a couple of years when I was a little bit younger. And one of the things that really stuck with me is the worst agent is a secret agent,
mm,
right? So I think if you want to do something, let everyone know that you're doing it,
mm.
right? Be shouted from the mountaintops because most of the time people want to support you. They just don't know you're doing anything. And so just letting everyone know and not necessarily asking for support, just letting them know, like, hey, I started this. Just wanted to let you know if you wanted to pull anything from it or if you wanted to watch it. I just wanted to give you the ability to. And go ahead and here's the link if you want to click on it and just let me know what you think. Right. And inherently, those friends and family that you've just formed relationships with will be your first supporters. And also on the flip side, they may
Hopefully.
not be, right?
I was gonna say,
They might
hopefully.
not be. I guess personally, I've had great support from my family and friends, thank God. And I think the second part of it is I have seen some people where they start something so inventive that everyone around them doesn't even see it as a possibility for their life,
Yeah.
right? Which we talked about this in one of the networking calls is the easiest way to kill a big dream is to tell it to a small mind and don't
Yeah.
listen to people you wouldn't trade places with. And so like
Absolutely.
those are two very important things. But it's just if you create such a strong message and such a strong mission, supporters will come and they'll be attached to it. So my question, the next question I have is how would mentorship or how does mentorship kind of change in the digital age, right? Obviously, we're both kind of in the younger category of things. So the digital age is something we've grown up into. But how would you say that mentorship has kind of changed? And I guess one example would be the school of mentors, but I'll let you kind of explain that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like in the digital age, like we have more access to mentorship, like knowledge, wisdom than any human ever, dude. Like the whole compendium of human knowledge is online now. And like geography is no longer an excuse. Like it's no excuse. If you have internet, like you can get access to some of the greatest thinkers in human history right now. So I would say in the digital age, like mentorship is more accessible than any time in human history. That being said, a whole bunch of bullshit is also way more available than and at any time in human history. So it's really about focus and attention. If you can master your focus and you can master your attention, like then you're golden. But like everything is competing for your attention. So I think, yeah, it's always like a series of life events that lead someone to that point where they just start locking in. And I just hope that everybody reaches that point faster. Um, but in terms of accessibility, bro, like we have more mentorship, more knowledge, more wisdom at our fingertips than ever before in human history, dude. That's my outlook.
I've definitely seen a lot of people younger, right? They're 20 years old and they're selling a course on how to sell courses. And it's just one of those weird things of it's so easy to say you're an expert in something when you aren't. Because it's just people don't care. Which is also to mention if you're scared of saying you're an expert in something when you actually are an expert in something, there's people out there that say they're an expert when they're not. So don't feel bad because you're above baseline. You're above the average person that talks about a topic, just to put that out there. And I
Yes.
think kind of to build off of what you're saying, it really is about weeding through the noise, right? Trying to find the music, right? And you really, something I've done is find about two or three people on the internet, only two or three, nothing more. And obviously, there's some little things that you find from little things, but two or three people that you follow religiously. For me, it's Alex Ramosi is probably one of the best people when it comes to how he talks about business. And I have his books. I'm excited for the event this Friday. Another one is the Diary of the CEO. Diary of the CEO podcast is one of the ones that I listen to because it is great because him himself is a great mentor and then he brings on tons of high value people. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually don't have a third one. Two to three people, and I found my two. And
Hey,
that's all
School
I
of Hard
do.
Knocks. School of Hard Knocks, bro.
So yeah, yes, yes, yes. So when it comes to being in communities, it's just a little bit different where I'm not necessarily following it religiously, but I'm there. I'm there and I'm absorbing. I follow the habits, right? So
Mm,
I join the mentorship calls, but I can't necessarily follow those people.
mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I haven't had to really watch the School of Hard Knocks as much because
And
I'm in the mentorship calls where it's
you
like,
are.
I don't need to really spend my time doing both because I have all these live recordings that I can go watch and I have all these resources that I can pull from. And I guess you're right. The school of mentors exactly, not necessarily the school of hard knocks, but the school of mentors to be very candid is just we're just going to sell your school of mentors like we're just going to keep pushing it every single chance I get.
Well,
It's
Austin,
really valuable.
let me ask, bro. Have you been able to ask a question on a live call yet?
I have not, so I'm very excited.
Dude, like this is insane. So for the price of like three Subway sandwiches a month, you can come to the School of Mentors, guys, and directly interact, ask a direct question to a multimillionaire or even billionaire mentor. Like people pay so much money for this level of direct mentorship, and you can get access to it for again three Subway sandwiches a month. It's actually insane. Like you get to if you know the School of Hard Knocks channel, you get to essentially step into James's shoes for the span of one question. It, it's insane value. It's
It
insane value.
is. Not to mention
And
the recordings. So you actually
yeah,
have all the recordings of people that have asked questions. And so
yep,
it's from people just like you trying to learn, trying to ask questions, and they're in the same shoes as you. And at one point, also to put this in perspective, James was also in those shoes at one point.
yes.
And so just it really it's his ability to give back to the community and his forming the community, and then obviously you giving back to the community as well by sitting in your position and doing such a phenomenal job running networking calls, helping the community flourish more and more. What do you think the role of AI is in mentorship, right? So it's very easy to not really necessarily need a mentor and just go to ChatGPT and ask all these questions, right? At least personally, what I've done is ask ChatGPT and how to do that. And obviously, you can also use ChatGPT to build stronger communities, right? You can talk to ChatGPT about anything or AI about anything. And I don't care which AI you use, right? ChatGPT, Claude, it's all this, at the end of the day, it's answering your questions using the compendium of knowledge on the internet. Well, so what do you think that the role of AI and online platforms might play in creating stronger communities and then obviously playing that mentorship kind of role for people sometimes?
Austin, I love these questions, bro. Um, there's a great quote that I'm thinking of right now, and it's people can take you places that money cannot. People can take you places that money cannot, and people can also take you places that AI cannot. AI, it'll tell you how to get into a room, but it won't get you in the room. It'll tell you how to make connections, but it won't introduce you to someone. So I think AI is great for compiling, um, curating, and aggregating knowledge bases together and making it digestible. It's a great educational resource. It's like a library on steroids. But there's a few things that I don't think AI can replace currently. And one is like authentic, genuine content. Like I haven't seen an AI that's been able to replicate the feel and energy of a human being yet. And I know that when I see AI generated posts inside the community, my eyes just kind of glaze over because the energy isn't right. The feel isn't human. It isn't correct. So that's one area that a lot of people are falling short on. They're over relying on AI for connection. We can't do that yet. AI hasn't been able to replicate that feel yet. Maybe it will in the future. I don't know. I don't know. We try to keep it as authentic as we can. I personally try to keep it as authentic as I can, but I think AI is great for aggregating knowledge, for exploring your own internal architecture, like the architecture of your mind, the architecture of your mental models. What do you think, man?
Yeah, so it brings it back to that statement you said a couple days ago is I don't think anyone's learned how to swim by reading a book.
Mm, mm,
It hasn't occurred. So you're reading books on how to swim, but at the end of the day, you got to go swim. And another really powerful thing that I will give you credit for is information can change the situation, but only through implementation. And so we
absolutely.
have the information handled. We don't got to worry about it anymore. Thank God. We're good. Anything you want to know, go to ChatGPT, go to Claude, go to Google, and they even have AI built into their searches. And you can get the information you need, and it will index it directly to what your answer is.
Yep.
But no one is going to teach you how to, no one's going to put you in the water. You got to jump in the water. You got to find those networking events. You got to walk in, and an AI robot can't replace the actual knowledge you have. And when you're in front of a high value person, you can't just pull your phone out and just go, "Hey, I'm having a conversation with a high value person. What's the best response to a question they just asked me?" 1 second, 1 second. And that just doesn't make sense. Like that just doesn't make any sense. And so implementing it and actually creating real world experiences that allow yourself to be more creative in a more organic way is going to be what makes you more valuable as a person and learning how to swim. So going into those rooms and kind of like you said, curating the knowledge base and actually learning what ChatGPT tells you, taking notes on it, right? As if it's a professor. Don't just read it and then move on. Study it. Study those answers that you're asking for and learn it like you would learn anything else. Internalize them. I think there's a study, I could be wrong on the numbers, but there's like a study of like 82% of people that use ChatGPT forget what ChatGPT just told them.
Wow.
It's like something ridiculous, or they forget what
Wow.
they even asked,
Mm.
right? So they forget those conversations pretty much instantly. And it's
Wow.
also like critical thinking in the world. Over reliance on AI can lose, you can lose the ability to critical thinking. And so, kind of the way I think the role of AI and online platforms might play in creating stronger communities is really just creating and curating the information that everyone uses as a knowledge base and then taking that into the real world and allowing themselves to learn from it and provide more value. And so I think using AI and online platforms to create and provide value is going to be the most important thing that most people need to do. Whether that's helping chiropractors with AI receptionists or AI voice models to help them curate business, or whether it's helping them even learn how to critique their business and how to build better foundations in converting leads. Like there's just so many things that you can do, and it's literally infinite. And ChatGPT will tell you an answer for any question you ask. And so that's where it's important as an individual to know which questions to ask. And so like that whole thing. And you also don't know. So as you meet a mentor, you don't know what you need to ask. And so they're going to help guide you into what to ask. And ChatGPT sometimes won't be able to do that because it's just you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And so you don't know the questions to ask to figure out information. You don't even know you need to know, right?
Mm.
So, I mean, some key takeaways, right? So I think we've talked through quite a bit. Obviously, School of Mentors is a phenomenal community, which that's an overarching message that I will preach and shout from the mountaintops. What makes a great mentor is, I mean, just making sure you reach out to the right people that fit your industry. Communities accelerate you because of those right people that are in it. Don't look for vanity, right? Look for confidence. Look for people that actually exist, that work in the real world, that have experiences instead of someone that pretends, right? Don't be weary of the person selling courses, right? Selling a course on selling courses. I mean, School of Mentors definitely connected me with you, connected me with some really great people. So just connecting people at the right time. I think I just quit my job and I'm full time in entrepreneurship. And so this is go time for me. So meeting the right people, being in the right room, and just finding a mentor in my field, right? Entrepreneurship, just that mindset of it all. I've thankfully been able to find some great people. I mean, building supporters, right? Creating a product and then the supporters will come. Mentorship is changing. So just change with it, right? Connect with people, weed out the bad people, find the good diamonds and follow them relentlessly. And then don't over rely on AI. Don't over rely on AI. It's a great tool. And I think everyone should put the tool in their tool belt, but it's not the house, right? The AI is not that house. It's the hammer. It's the hammer that helps you put in the nails, but you still got to put the nails in the wall. So, where can listeners connect with you?
That's a good question, man. I'm actually trying to recover more time for myself.
So, I mean,
So
like, so the School of Mentors. So, where are some places that people will find you? Like maybe just like seeing some of your content, seeing the stuff that you're putting out into the world, or just following you on different platforms.
yeah, it's really interesting, man, because recently I've been on this journey of relearning Mandarin Chinese. It had a huge impact on me losing it. So as I'm relearning it, my English content is actually lessening and lessening. But if you really want to connect with me, join the School of Mentors. I'm hosting networking calls 2 times a week, every Wednesday and Friday. And you can definitely connect with me there. And I'm more than happy to help you out however I can, launch your business, help you with mindset, communication, or just refer you to the right resources and people to help you out with your journey. But frankly speaking, I'm trying to recover more time for myself right now. So
That's
School of
good.
Mentors is the best place to find me.
Yeah, 1000%. So I'll go ahead and put a link in the description. and I recommend that everyone join. You will get the value that you put in, right? So Alex Hermosi says something, which is the last note I'll leave it on. Instead of the S&P 500, invest in the S&Me 500.
Ooh,
To become an eight-figure earner, you have to become an eight-figure person. Seven-figure earner, seven-figure person. And so curate your knowledge, curate your personality, curate who you want to be so you can be where you want to be.
I
And I'll
love
leave
that,
it there.
bro.
I will see
I
you guys
love
in the
that,
next
bro.
episode.